Hey everybody, welcome to Culinary Characters Unlocked. I'm David Page. On this episode, a couple of sisters, the third-generation owners of the more than century-old Johnny's Cafe in Omaha, Nebraska. It's a local legend for steak and prime rib, and a 2025 James Beard America's Classics Award winner. Here are Sally Kawa and Kari Kawa Harding. Kari, Sally, how you doing? Thanks for joining me.
Well, thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
James Beard, America's Classic Award winner? That's big news.
It's huge news, and we are thrilled, to say the least.
Did it ever occur to you that you might be in the running for that?
Absolutely not. Wasn't even on our radar.
What the James Beard Foundation says of the America's Classic Awards, they go to institutions that reflect local character and serve as an enduring anchor for their communities. How are you an anchor for your community?
Well, 104 years in, that's how long the restaurant's been up and functioning. We're involved in our community. My goodness, we shared so many memories of so many people, anniversaries, birthdays, celebrations, everyday life. I think that's a huge part of it. I mean, we're next to what used to be the stockyards, which is what put Omaha on the map and which is where Omaha grew from. There's so many people that come in and tell stories about their memories of hauling cattle with their parents or grandparents. And, you know, if they got a good price, maybe they could get dessert with their lunch or dinner. So there's just so much talk still to this day about the restaurant and the cattle yards, and they haven't been actually functioning since the 90s. We're embedded in a lot of memories, and we're so very thrilled about that.
Kari, you're the third generation?
Yes, Sally and me, we're the third generation. Our grandfather started it in 1922. His name was Frank Kawa. It was probably like Kowalowski when he came over from Poland. He was just happy to be here, so he didn't care how they spelled his name. And the story goes is he bought a small bar with like 8 tables. The name painted on the building was Johnny's. He didn't have enough money to change the paint, so it became his nickname. He would answer to Johnny Kawa. He would sign things Frank Johnny Kawa. The pictures from the 20s, it was kind of the Wild West in South Omaha. They had guns on them. It was oil lamps. And
like real whiskey barrels, like in the bar. I mean, that's really some great old pictures.
As the story goes, he was a bootlegger. He was the beer baron of South Omaha.
During Prohibition?
During Prohibition. My father and my uncle never knew about it, but they found articles that they were after him.
Well, wait. How'd they not know about it? I read that he actually got busted and did some time.
That was before he married their mother. So he was significantly older than our grandmother, which is very typical, they say, of that immigration generation, because no one was going to marry you when you were dirt poor, so you had to make some money. And so the kids just never knew the story. And my grandma was about as straight-laced as they come, so we kind of laugh. We don't know how much she knew of the story either.
Okay, so he buys a bar, which he will eventually turn into a bootlegging operation. When did he start making it into a restaurant?
They started by making like sandwiches for the cattle people, hauling cattle. And then that just expanded over time. From what we can see from the menus, by the 40s, that was a full-fledged restaurant. In its peak, like in the 50s, they were running from 6 a.m. till 1 a.m. were their hours.
Were they servicing the stockyard community? Is that the deal?
Yes. The people hauling cattle to sell at the stockyards.
Plus the cattle buyers.
Yeah.
Everything was in this area.
Kari, I read that there was a meatpacking operation in the basement?
We did not run it. They leased it out to friends. We are right next to the stockyards. We're on 27th Street, and in the heyday, the stockyards were from 27th to 42nd Street.
And people don't realize that Omaha would overtake Chicago as the largest livestock market meatpacker in the country. So this was busy.
Right. So there's pictures or paintings really of when Hoffman Packing House was downstairs of cattle bins in the back of the restaurant.
Live cattle?
Yeah. So they would run them across the railroad tracks for the packing house, and the packing house that was below the restaurant would slaughter and kill them there. So that was before our time.
Just a little, yeah.
And as the restaurant expanded, then they took over the rest of the building. You know, they stopped leasing it out.
So they were getting their meat right from the stockyards.
Yes.
Where do you get your meat today?
Well, we still get as local as we can. There are still meat packing plants around us, some large, some smaller. So we buy as much as we can from Nebraska Beef, which is the name of a packing house, and they kind of source as local as possible. But we also have to supplement a little bit from Cisco, but we still hand cut. We still have have a butcher here in house. We still age on premise. We still make our own hamburger. We're still like doing it old school in a good way.
Old school's the best.
Yeah.
So let's continue the history. Frank's got the place, turns it into a thriving restaurant. He had 2 sons, right? Jack and Tom?
Yes.
And your dad is...
Jack.
Okay, so when did Jack and Tom take the place over?
My grandfather died in 1960. Jack and Tom were still in college. So for about 3 years, a couple years, the bank was running the restaurant.
The bank?
The bank. Because
And a manager.
And a manager, but they were running it.
Are banks good at running restaurants?
No, they're not. They told my grandmother that she was going to have to sell everything and they were going to have to close.
They took it from a thriving business, a very thriving business back then, to just in the tank. And so that is the time that Jack and Tom decided to break the trust. Their father, Johnny, whatever, our grandpa, he knew he was going to die. And so he had set it up as a trust because he wanted the boys, they called them the boys, to be older to run the restaurant. So they ended up breaking the trust and taking over in like 63, 64. And they had a struggle. They talk about it a lot, the struggle on their hands to try to right the ship. And so they, at that point, were serving 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. to just try to pay the bills and get it back going the right direction.
Well, they kind of rejuvenated the place, apparently. They brought in like outside consultants?
Well, they did that more like in the 70s.
The 70s. So they got everything back on track. And so in 70, 71, they actually redid the restaurant to what it looks like today. Prior to that, it was all like little rooms because they just kept adding on over the years as they grew. And they do talk about like the 50s and the 60s. It was sawdust on the floor so that they could hose it out every night because of everything on everyone's boots.
Lovely.
Yes. So in the 70s, 70, 71, they redid it to what it looks like now. Our dining room, there's T-bone beams in it. There's a large mural.
What's a T-bone beam?
Like a structural beam, but they're in the shape of T-bones.
We're going to make you think about beef one way or another.
You got some seats that are actually saddles?
Yes.
Yeah, we do. We do.
If you go into our bar, like the cabinets, they have brands of real ranches from Nebraska on them. So, I mean, they put a lot of thought into it. So in the 70s, they redid everything and it was a very busy place.
And they did that partially because they knew the way that people were buying and selling cattle was changing. The idea of a stockyard was on the decline and they don't exist anymore because they did change into more of a direct buy kind of thing. So at the same time, when they brought in consultants to do the interior and exterior remodels, they started at that point really delving into restaurant consultants. And to say my dad was a fan of restaurant consultants is probably an understatement. He loves a restaurant consultant and they brought a lot of information for my dad and my uncle. Neither one ever finished college. They left college to take over the restaurant. Their knowledge was very firsthand of the restaurant business. So it helped to get some outside perspective and some maybe even people from both coasts that could kind of show them some new ideas, new things.
The clientele had been stockyard related. Was this now an attempt to say to the rest of the town, to a different clientele, hey, give us a try?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think they really started tapping into the local market.
And they were turning into like a destination because we're kind of an old part of Omaha. You would have to decide to drive here.
You're not downtown. Well, the stockyards were not downtown, so yeah.
We're south of downtown. So we're kind of an old part of Omaha.
Back in a moment. Okay, so your dad and your uncle have the place. You're growing up. Were you in the restaurant all the time?
We were here a lot. When we were kids, the bakery ran 24 hours a day. They had bakers all the time. We'd love to come steal some frosting or grab a hot roll coming out of the oven. We thought we were a big help. I'm sure we were not. And then once we were old enough, we all worked in the restaurant. We own the restaurant now, but we do have 2 other sisters that are not part of the business. And we all worked here growing up. So if there's a position, I think we've done it. We've done it all.
Was food a big part of family life?
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's a great cook, but my mom's probably a better cook. So we did not lack for great meals at home by any means.
What'd you eat at home? It wasn't all T-bone steaks.
Oh, no. My mom grew up in Iowa. She's a big lover of pork. We ate a lot of pork growing up. And we had a hot breakfast every single morning before we went to school. And then, you took your school lunch with you back in the day. And then it was required sit-down dinner every single night. No excuses. You were going to be home for dinner. And so it kind of ran the gamut. Your general all-American fare. When we were kids, there was not a lot of international food. Like Like, I don't even think I even had anything in like the Asian or anything in that category until I went to college. It wasn't even really around. We weren't that exposed to it. We rarely ate
But
out.
we would come down as a family to the restaurant once a month.
Because you could get a good deal, I think.
Yes, I get a good deal.
And we could drink Shirley Temple.
Hey, the heritage of the family is Polish. Your dad certainly.
Yes, it is. Uh-huh.
Did you grow up with any Polish cooking at home?
My grandma was a huge baker. So the kolaches and even the pies and stuff. And like Polish sausage and sauerkraut, that kind of stuff. But
Our mother's not Polish, so
yeah.
And she was doing the cooking at home, right?
Yeah.
You're growing up around the restaurant.
Mhm.
Did you say to yourselves one day, I want to run this place?
no.
No, hard no.
But you ended up in the hospitality business anyway. I mean, where'd you both go to college? Carrie, where'd you go?
University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
In the hospitality program?
Yes, I went to hotel restaurant school, yes.
So you knew you wanted to be in the biz.
I did.
What motivated that? You've seen all the bad stuff as a kid of restauranting. Why'd you say, I want to do this?
I didn't really have any other idea of what I wanted to do, to be honest. I was kind of leaning more toward business. And then my dad's like, well, what about University of Nevada, Las Vegas school? He knew about it. And to be honest, I wanted to get out of Nebraska winters. So I was like, I'll go to Las Vegas. But then I really did enjoy the school. I learned a lot and it was a good fit for me. But then after I graduated, I decided I wanted to be in California. So I worked for Marriott for a couple of years. I loved California and I did really like Marriott, but I figured out it's pretty special to have a family business. And there's a lot to be said for that.
Sally, what was your path?
I ended up going to UNLV too, but not really by choice, more by default.
How's that?
I wanted to be a pilot, but I'm really too short for that.
There's a height minimum for piloting?
Yeah, there is. Or there was then, back in the 80s. I don't know if there still is.
Got to reach the rudder, I guess.
So I went to UNLV and had a great time, I'm not going to lie. And then I actually, when I graduated, went and worked for Disneyland and went through Disneyland's management training program. That was right when they started to hire kind of from the outside. And I lived in California and loved working for Disneyland. It was a great experience. And we laugh. It sounds like we've been hanging out for a long time, but we really didn't get along very well all through our college years, Carrie and I.
How close together are you in age? Were you both at UNLV at the same time?
Yes, we were.
We're just a year apart.
And you didn't want to hang out?
No,
No.
you didn't know we were related.
Yeah. Yeah. We did not run it. Yeah. We did not run the same circles, I'd say, or we tried not to. So then we both kind of had careers in California for a while. You know, I think there were some openings here in the business. My dad was kind of hinting that it might be a good time to come back. And for me, it was just so expensive to live in California. I loved it. But my friends were starting to buy houses here. And my goodness, I mean, you couldn't afford to, buy a condo in California. So I think it was a big leap of faith to move back, but no regrets.
Did you both come back around the same time?
I came back maybe a year earlier.
Yeah. I think she came back a year before.
You both jumped right into the business?
Not owning it, just like managing it kind of getting our feet wet again in the business. We hadn't really been involved for quite some years, like probably 5 or 6 years. And so slowly, some people were retiring. There were some openings here.
At the time, our uncle was opening a brewery. And so he needed help opening that. And so we kind of came back also to help do that. And that did not work. And it was a huge lesson for all of us.
Like you had to know your core base. And
Yes.
You had to know what their expectations were. So they tried to take like the name.
Johnny's, but open a brewery with it. He wanted it to be more casual. But, Johnny's is people expect steaks and prime rib. It was a lesson for all of us. And it was a good lesson to learn then because we were young enough, because there was a lot to pay off after that did not work.
Yeah.
You both had been in the biz after studying the biz. You get slapped in the face with this. Did you look at the restaurant itself and say, I've studied all this stuff and we could do 1,000 things better?
Oh, sure. I think we came in blazing with ideas of things to change and how to improve. But you learn very quickly there's a good system here. I mean, there's a reason it's been going for a while. And some things are old school in a good way. And some things definitely needed to be updated, like, just even getting computerized and getting on a POS system. Some of that stuff we brought to the forefront. It was still all handwritten tickets, I think, when we came back. But we learned quickly you don't want to change too much.
And then we're really doing everything from scratch. Before that was like a word, or that was the cool thing to do. I mean, people almost thought it was old fashioned, like for the older crowd. But then I think if you hold on to something long enough, it succeeds. It shows why there's a reason why you've succeeded for so long. And it's because you've stuck to these recipes that have been around for quite a while. And everything's homemade. Makes a difference.
Well, now that's in vogue.
It is.
Yeah, we were cool before everyone knew.
Yeah, well, a chef once explained to me, he said, people brag about making things like dressings from scratch. In fact, that's the cheapest way to do it.
It is.
Yes. And you have the best control over it, too, because you get to control all the products going in. We make the soups from scratch, the sauces, all that stuff, dressings, all the daily specials. And I think that's helped to really solidify us because it's a lot easier to open a can or a bag, and we're just not going that route. We don't believe in it.
And we'll be right back.
When did you guys take over? Or I guess initially you joined your dad as owners?
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle.
So I don't know. The date's a little foggy. We feel like we've been here forever. But I'd say we've probably been running it for the last 15.
Probably the last 20 years. It's ours. I mean, we're the ones on the line.
Did your dad have a hard time giving up control?
Well, after we actually did like sign papers and everything, he was going to retire. And that lasted about 3 days. And my mother sent him back to us because he's worked in a restaurant all his life. And other than golf, which you cannot do 12 months a year in Nebraska, he had nothing to do.
You can barely do it 3 months a year in Nebraska.
I know.
So he was back. And so actually, people really do think he still owns it because he is here a lot.
And he probably really just in the last, since COVID, has finally not come in every single day.
Has phased out.
And has phased down his appearances.
Okay, so you take it over. It's a legacy. It's a legend. But you are versed in modern business practices. Have you changed things?
I think yes. I mean, I think we've elevated some things. I'd like to think we have a better wine selection. We have a better cocktail program. We have a cocktail program. Start there. I think just trying to stay current, which is always a struggle, but website development and all the stuff that comes with that.
There's more fish and chicken options, definitely, because we don't want
to exclude
anyone. I mean, you don't want it to be the reason you didn't come here because you don't eat beef.
Beef has taken quite a reputational beating in the last bunch of years.
Yes.
Is that reflected in diner preferences? I mean, how do you run a steakhouse when we're bombarded with don't eat meat, eat vegetables?
Well, we're in the Midwest, so we're still in beef country. Don't be fooled. I mean, we have little 100-pound women putting down a 22-ounce porterhouse.
And more power to them, damn it.
Yes. And so I think for us, our bigger challenge has been the volatility of the meat market. I mean, the price volatility, and that's an ongoing issue that we are constantly dealing with.
Well, I live on the East Coast, not that far from New York, so I'm familiar with seemingly stupid restaurant beef prices here. But I was a little shocked. I opened your menu. You're getting $50.95 for a 9-ounce filet. How do you sell that? I don't mean to be dismissive of the Midwest or Omaha, but that seems awful high for that part of the country.
Well, first of all the meals are all inclusive, so you're getting a salad and potato and everything with it.
And I'm not being critical. I'm just curious.
Tenderloin is at an all-time high right now. Really, we're probably the cheaper out of all the local restaurants of what we're charging for that because we hand cut it here and we have the controls. And then whatever trim you do have, we are using that. We're using that byproduct, so that kind of helps keep that price more down. But yeah, that's a big jump. I think that's when I say the volatility of meat prices.
Is your traffic down as a result?
No, no, it's not. But I think that's particularly that filet and petite fillets probably increased 20% in the last year at the selling price.
Well, it's interesting. I'm looking at the menu. A 12-ounce New York strip is $35.95. That's $15 cheaper than a smaller filet.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's a better cut of steak, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it's definitely more flavorful, depending on what you prefer, but yeah.
You're best known for prime rib, right?
We're very well known for prime rib. We've got ovens that we cook it in that are just dedicated to prime rib. We do it lunch and dinner every single day we're open. We sell a lot of prime rib.
So what's the secret? How long do you cook a prime rib?
It really depends on the weight.
It's low and slow.
Yeah, low and slow, and that keeps it tender. And the fact that, at any given time, we have anywhere from 2 to 7 prime ribs going. You're able to get that medium rare or that medium well, and they can work off different prime ribs.
Now, you're cutting all this in-house, you said?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
What's your most popular item?
At dinner, it's a cross between the prime rib and the filet.
But when you guys are eating steak, what do you choose?
Well, I think tonight I'll probably have petite filet at home. It depends. We mess around a lot with it. We don't actually get to sit and eat at the restaurant very often. So we're closed on Sundays and Mondays. And Sunday's family dinner. And then Monday is usually you're on your own. And Monday night's usually when I sit down and enjoy a steak.
What's the secret to, everybody cooks steak. Everyone's got their idea of the right way to cook it. I went through the reverse sear phase recently. And then I got a sous vide and I did that and I liked it, but that's so damn much work and it takes so long. What's the best way to cook a steak?
We don't mess around too much with it. We only season it very lightly. We're not killing it with seasoning.
What do you season it with?
Salt, pepper, and a couple other spice blends. And nothing major. And I think getting it to room temperature or not ice cold before you put it on the grill is part of the secret to it. And letting it rest before you eat it, I think that makes a very big difference. And I think we always say there's just some secret sauces, someone else cooking it. It's always better when someone else cooks it.
Well, what do you cook it on at the restaurant?
We have two separate grills. We have a flat grill and we have a char grill. And depending on the steak and the amount of fat in the steak depends on what it's cooked on.
Well, okay, what goes where?
The fattier ones go on the char, and the least fatty, like the filet, petite filet, they go on the flat.
A flat top like I'd cook eggs or a burger on?
Yes. A very large flat top, but yes.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. And it totally works. And then we have, I'm sure you've seen it before, the covers with the hole in the center that you can cover the meat with, particularly more if it's really cooked like medium well, which I do not recommend for a filet.
Who the hell eats it medium well?
People do.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Well, the Queen of England ate steak well done.
Well, I didn't know that one. Yeah.
And actually our grandmother too. She drove my father and my uncle crazy.
Yeah.
We'd only eat a steak that was medium well.
Why?
We don't know.
Because she grew up during the Depression.
I think the meat was just so bad. Such poor cuts of beef. I think you just really had to cook the bejeebers out of it.
You do specials, right?
We do a lot of specials. As lunch, we're known for our specials.
Mhm.
Well, tell me about that.
So on Tuesdays, we do oxtails every Tuesday. Some days we run out an hour after we open because it's something that you have to cook before we open. It is the tail of a cow.
Literally, it's the tail of a cow.
Yes, it's similar to short rib meat. It's rich meat. We cook it almost like in a vegetable gravy, and it's messy, and people love it. And a lot of people grew up eating it because it used to be free almost, or a penny. And now it's pretty expensive. It's hard to get.
And a lot of people are familiar with it. Like I've had oxtail soup, but this is actually just the oxtails in a gravy on the plate.
Was that traditional in Omaha?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've done it for years, and we're known for it.
Do you do other offcuts?
Not anymore. Like when we were kids, they used to have tongue sandwiches and things of that nature, but
Sweetbreads.
but there's not the demand for it. So
We do like chicken livers a couple times a week. We'll do beef liver.
Mhm.
You know, it's interesting you're talking about this, and I'm thinking back to my own childhood. I'm Jewish, and chicken liver, tongue, and then I'm thinking further, my Jewish ancestors came from Poland and Russia.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's the same.
Similar.
Yes.
You do liver pâté sometimes, I read?
First weekend of every month.
People know it's the first weekend only. I got to come in for that.
Yes. But for you, if you tell me you're coming, I'll have it for you.
Thank you. You make it obviously in-house.
We do.
Beef liver, calf liver?
No, it's chicken. Chicken liver and chicken gizzards.
Chicken gizzards. Wow. You know, it's interesting. Americans don't eat, for the most part, knowingly until they have a hot dog. They don't eat all the parts of the animal that most of the world eats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You think that's changing at all?
I think people are very interested in things that are different. Like the oxtails, we've seen a resurgence of like people who've never had them that are coming in just because they've heard about it and they want to try what this is. And then they're happily surprised because the gravy almost, it's reminiscent of a pot roast almost, but with rich, like short rib meat in it. So I think younger people, like they're seeing stuff online and they want to try this different.
Yeah. I think people have a better palate by all means. They're more adventurous than they've ever been.
Well, social media's got a lot to do with that, don't you think?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you guys use social media?
Sparingly. Not that we're against it. I think we're very hands-on business owners. Like we actually work positions on the floor every single shift. We are the ones seating you, or we're the ones helping run the food, or whatever the case may be, wherever we're needed at the moment. But because of that, we don't have as much time, I think, toward the social media side. But we do. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram.
Where do you get your chefs?
Well, we're lucky. We've had the same head chef for 40 years.
What?
Yeah. Secret to our success is him.
What's his name?
His name's Jamie Ramarin, and he is actually from Hawaii, and he came to Omaha to go to school at Creighton University, which is a local school here that has a big Hawaiian draw. And he was studying to be a teacher, and I'd say is high energy. So he wanted to work while he was going to school and started working in the kitchen here, and actually graduated and was a teacher and decided he loved cooking more and went from a cook to actually running the kitchen.
Well, I've just learned, I had no idea Creighton was a big draw to the Hawaiian community.
Yes. Why you would leave Hawaii to go to Omaha stumps all of us.
Yeah, it's a random fact.
Yeah.
Look, I went to school in Oklahoma, so I'm familiar with this. You do chicken fried steak. I love chicken fried steak. Explain it for those who haven't had it.
So it is a cubed steak.
Beef steak
That is tenderized.
In other words, you beat the hell out of it with a mallet.
Yes. And we actually have a machine we put ours through.
Oh, really?
A tenderizing machine. We do it here, obviously, because we do everything here. And we put it through this machine and it tenderizes it. And then for us, we hand bread it. So it's kind of a flour, cracker meal kind of breading. And then we do a combination of a fry on the flat grill and the fryer.
But ours is a little different. We don't serve ours with country gravy. We serve it with our homemade mushroom gravy.
Whoa, you are breaking all the rules.
Yeah, we are.
I'm looking, you do have, if it's not beef, you have an eclectic menu. What is inside out chicken cordon bleu?
So think chicken cordon bleu, but the stuff that was normally on the inside would be on the outside.
Which is ham and cheese, right?
Yeah, the ham and cheese are on top with a butter sauce. With a butter sauce, yeah.
Kind of a Midwestern chicken parm.
Yes.
Although you do that too, I see.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
And you do a ginger chicken? So you said you grew up with no Asian influence, but...
That definitely is from one of the consultants. I'm positive of that one, but it's a great chicken. It's marinated, skinless, boneless, marinated and grilled.
And it's heart healthy. So not all bad for you.
Okay. So you've got this legacy to protect, but you've been explaining that tastes are changing. How are you going to stay current without losing the essence of the place?
Well, I don't think there's a perfect answer to that. And if you know, we'd be happy to hear.
Well, just pay me as a consultant. I'll come on it.
I think it's an ever-changing, moving target of what people want, what their expectations are. I think the fact that we're hands-on in the business and talking to tables and talking to regulars gives us an insight to what they want or don't want or what they're looking for. But
So our core menu is always going to stay the same. I mean, the steaks and the prime rib is what we're known for. But I think some of the specials are changing and are different.
And we have to be more creative with the ongoing volatile meat prices and just food costs in general, of trying to get more creative and not having everything be a protein in the middle of the plate that's so cost driven. I think we try to get a little creative about some of that stuff.
Well, am I going to see a veggie plate?
Like an actual vegetarian plate?
Yeah.
We actually have a cheese tortellini. It's not printed on the menu, but we've got a couple options available. But every time we put something on the menu, it doesn't seem to go well. But if it's on the secret menu, it seems to be much more popular.
What else is on the secret menu?
Oh, I don't even know.
That's about it.
That's about it. There's some, like liver and onions we don't really have at night, but if you really want it, we'll do it for you. I mean, there's some things, if you can ask, if we're able to do it, we definitely will try.
And then some of it we brought back as lunch specials, like some old school things that we've done in the past. Like we're doing smothered pork chops now.
Mm-hmm.
We just started doing the chicken livers probably 2 years ago that we have it like twice a month. And actually, there's quite a few people that come in just for that. Because some of this stuff you can't find anywhere anymore.
Yeah. And then we're doing like a roast pork and dumpling
Ooh.
with sauerkraut. Yeah. I mean, like, so some of that stuff that was less popular and got taken off the menu, we're bringing back and people are really into it.
Because it's retro.
Everything I read about the place mentions a tinge of Polish influence on the menu. Your salad dressing is somehow Polish?
Oh, it's Polish vinaigrette. Yes. I mean, that's a salad dressing they've been doing since like the 40s, as far as we know.
What makes it Polish?
Well, he was from Poland. That's what makes it Polish, I guess. Yeah.
And you've got, I'm not even going to try to read the Polish GZIK. Pronounce that.
We don't know.
Oh, okay, fine. Apparently, it's like some kind of cottage cheesy dip that you do that is like that, even though none of us can pronounce it. What is it?
Correct. Well, so we hear, but it is something that's complimentary at dinner with
rolls and crackers.
And at lunch, it's an appetizer that you can order.
What's in it? What is it?
It's a cottage cheese spread. We take regular cottage cheese and add some secrets to it, mix it all together, and that's what we've been doing it for decades.
Supposedly, it was like a snack in Poland. Like your snack when you were in school, they would serve you this cottage cheese spread on like rye bread would be a snack in Poland.
Okay. Is it good?
It's very good.
Fabulous. Yeah.
The restaurant business, and it's always a crapshoot, but if you read the headlines these days, it's in trouble. The economy, people dining out less. Are you seeing that in Omaha?
No, we've definitely lived through some hard things. We are kind of an old part of Omaha. So for, 3 years, the interstate was closed down, which is the main way to get here. And that was in the 90s. When we had COVID, that was very tough for a steak restaurant. Steak and prime rib is not what you think of for to-go food.
Well, what'd you do?
We got creative, that's for sure.
We did some takeout dinners, like TV dinners, like once a week we would do that.
What was in your TV dinner?
We did like a hamburger steak with gravy and mashed potatoes. We did fried chicken with chicken gravy.
Meatloaf, Salisbury steak, Swiss steak.
Things that you could put into like a TV dinner and you could reheat. And we got lean and mean. We had to. And I think if we can survive COVID,
we feel we really can weather a lot of storms. But for us, I think the Midwest is more insulated. Whatever is happening on the coast really does take like a year to get to us. We've always said that, trend-wise or even economy-wise. And we have a very diversified clientele. We have a lot of farmers, a lot of people in the cattle industry that are still coming in. We have travelers, we have locals, families. There's a lot. And Omaha, shockingly, has a lot of tourism. The zoo is really well known. College World Series, Berkshire Hathaway. So we're able to tap into that too. So that I think helps insulate us. But everyone's really talking about liquor sales being down. Our liquor sales are up for the year. It's just a little bit different, I think, here in the Midwest.
You mentioned Berkshire Hathaway. Has Warren Buffett ever come in?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Supposedly his first meeting with Munger was here.
Charlie Munger, his number 2 guy, yeah. Does he tip well?
Yeah, I think he tips normal. We haven't really seen him recently. Back in the day, he used to drive himself. Now he has security.
But he does have a T-bone, hash browns, and a Coke.
Coke or cherry Coke? He's into cherry Coke.
Cherry Coke.
Yeah, cherry Coke.
Will there be a 4th generation running the restaurant?
I have a daughter who right now is in graphic design and computer science. So,
And we've got nieces and nephews, but we don't know. We've got a long way till we're ready to retire. And we had no interest. So we kind of hold on to that hope that we had no interest when we were younger. And hopefully that maybe they'll turn a corner and someone will spark an interest in the business.
We have people to help us with the website now.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the James Beard Award.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations on 104 years of success. What a remarkable story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you both for taking the time to talk with me. It's been a real pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
Very nice to meet you. Next time you're in Omaha, you never know.
Please come visit us.
Oh, I'm coming in. I'm having a New York strip and chicken livers.
Perfect.
That's my combo.
Quite the combo.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Sally Kawa and Kari Kawa Harding on Culinary Characters Unlocked. I'm David Page. I'll see you next time. And check out the Culinary Characters Unlocked Substack.